Hey everyone, I'm James. In 2008, the entire American financial system collapsed. Millions lost their jobs, their homes, their savings. Everyone said nobody saw it coming. That was a lie. One analyst inside the Treasury Department predicted exactly which banks would fall, in exactly what order, months before it happened. He took that report to his director, and he was told to change the numbers until they said something different. This is that March 2008. Washington, D.C. A man is staring at his screen. It's 2 in the morning. The entire office is dark except for the cold glow of his monitor. Outside, America is asleep. But this man cannot sleep because he has seen something that won't let him. His name doesn't matter. His title doesn't matter. What matters is the model, the risk model, the one he spent months building, the one that is now telling him that the entire American financial system is about to collapse. One institution after another, like dominoes falling in a line. First Bear Stearns, then Lehman Brothers, then Merrill Lynch, then AIG. The timeline was almost exact. The sequence was precise. The model was not wrong. But the next morning, when he placed that report on his director's desk, what happened next was the kind of thing that breaks an honest man. His director read it again, leaned back in his chair, and said, "Run the numbers again."
We cannot change this
until they look
The decision is final.
That was it. No questions, no debate, no investigation, just one instruction. Keep changing the numbers until they say something else. This is the story of that moment. When the truth was right there. When the warning was ready. When it could have been stopped. But nobody stopped it. The world will never forget 2008. When Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy in September 2008, the world assumed it happened overnight. A sudden shock. A single, catastrophic moment. But the truth was that this collapse had been building for years, and certain people knew it was coming. After 2001, the Federal Reserve slashed interest rates so aggressively that borrowing money became almost free. Banks began handing out home loans to people with no stable income, no credit history, and no guarantee of repayment. These were called subprime loans. Wall Street then took these loans and repackaged them with extraordinary sophistication. They bundled them into complex financial instruments, they sold them to investors across the globe, and they stamped them with AAA ratings. The highest possible safety rating, the gold standard of trustworthiness. But it was a lie, a massive, enormously expensive lie. By late 2007, cracks were beginning to appear in the housing market. Loan defaults were climbing, property values were dropping, and those financial instruments built on top of these loans were rotting from the inside out. This was the moment when that Treasury Department analyst began building his model. He studied the data, he tracked the patterns. He went through the balance sheets of every major American bank. He looked at which institutions were carrying the heaviest subprime exposure, which ones had real capital behind them, and which ones were holding nothing but paper. And when he ran all of it through his model, what came out was terrifying. Bear Stearns would fall first. Maximum subprime exposure, minimum liquidity. Then Lehman Brothers, leveraged so aggressively that even a moderate market shift could bring it down completely. Then Merrill Lynch. Then AIG, the company insuring the entire system, backed by almost nothing real. The model wasn't just predicting what would happen, it was predicting when, and in what order. March 2008. Bear Stearns, exactly as the model said it would. The Federal Reserve intervened. JP Morgan purchased Bear Stearns at a fraction of its value, propped up with government assistance. Wall Street exhaled. People told themselves maybe the worst was over. But the analyst knew this was only the beginning. He updated his report. He went back to his director. "Lehman is next," he said. "And if action isn't taken right now, this won't just be one bank. This will be the entire American financial system." But the same instruction came back. Look at the numbers again. Find a different angle, reach a different conclusion. This pressure wasn't coming from just one director. It was the pressure of an entire system. powerful names from Wall Street were in Washington. Lobbying was happening at every level. Nobody wanted a report circulating that would trigger panic, that would rattle markets, that would shake investor confidence. Because if that report had gone public, if action had been taken on it, if Lehman had been rescued in time or wound down in a controlled and deliberate way, that September morning might never have come. September 15th, 2008. Lehman Brothers filed the largest bankruptcy in American history, more than $600 billion in liabilities. In a single night, markets around the world went into freefall. Over the following weeks, the American stock market lost more than 30% of its value. Across the country and around the world, millions of people lost their jobs, lost their homes, lost their savings, lost everything they had spent a lifetime building. The average American who had never once set foot on Wall Street, who had never traded a single stock, who had never touched a subprime mortgage, was paying the price for decisions made in boardrooms and government offices they would never see. And the people who made those decisions, many of them received government bailouts, funded by taxpayer money, $700 billion. The Troubled Asset Relief Program, public money handed back to the very institutions that had set the fire in the first place. And the analyst, the report, the model, buried somewhere in a file. Perhaps it still is. History has seen this before. The truth was visible, the warning was prepared, but no one was willing to listen, or no one wanted to. The 2008 financial crisis was not a sudden disaster that came out of nowhere. It was a carefully ignored catastrophe, one that was seen, one that was understood, and one that was allowed to happen anyway. Because when the truth needed to be heard the most, someone looked at the man who was telling it and said, "Keep
Final
running
direction.
the numbers until they say something
Execute.
different." And the most devastating thing about that moment is not that one man was silenced. It's that no one in that building pushed back.